Alright, hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be part 5 here of final assembly of the all-terrain track chair. Continuing on with some wiring, I just got the RC system back up functioning and testing a few things, and if you hang around until later, we'll fire it up again for you. In the meantime though, we need to get back to some wiring, and next up is some ramp wiring, and I need to terminate these two wires right here. Two other wires come in each one of those to run the ramp actuators. I wanted a nice clean way of doing that, so I wanted a bus terminal stud. I couldn't find what I wanted online, and they were kind of expensive, the ones that I did find. So I designed and 3D printed my own. It's 2 1/4-inch studs. Bolt heads are recessed up in there, and I've got 2 nice mounting pads here for the screws, and that's going to go right here inside the frame right there, and that'll give me a nice spot to terminate the wires to. So we're going to get going on that, get the ramp actuators in, and keep going from there. So hang around, we'll fire it up later on the RC. Alright, quick update here. I've been working on this wiring, and from the last segment there, I did get the ramp bus terminal thing all terminated there, so the ramp does work. There's the actuator that raises and lowers the ramp on the right side. There's a similar one on the left side. I've also cleaned up a lot of the wiring that goes in here and wrapped it for protection. Same kind of around here back into that control box. I've also been working on the wiring inside the cabin here, and you can see that a little bit better here. There's the left side turn panel back there, and here on the right I've actually got one of the panels in. Actually I only have one panel left to put in on this side to cap those things all in. And continuing on here, and actually the next step that I'm going to go into now on the wiring is putting in all the lighting. That'll go into those 3 switch locations and solenoids back there on the turn panel. And this was actually one of the early totes that I had disassembled and shortened up, so this should fit in there pretty nicely. So we're going to get that rolling. I've also got the window actuators all put in and working, and that's here on these switches here. I put some labels on them so you know which one is which and how to do it. So that works nice. So we're going to get the lighting in and then move on to air system. Got all the lighting, wiring, relay there in that back turn panel, and it's packed in there pretty tight, so I'm going to make a little cover to cover that up and hide all that stuff. Alright, so switching gears a little bit here from wiring over to the air system. The first step here is getting some of these air gauges set to go for going into the track chair. And in order to do that, I had made some little metal brackets and levers that go on there to make it easier to activate those little bitty buttons that are hard on a good day. So those were plain steel. I didn't want to powder coat them, they're just kind of small. So I have a zinc tin coating, and I put that on there, and so those are complete. And I'm going to bolt these back together and then start getting these this gauge assembly in there, and then I can work on cleaning and plumbing up this air hose stuff. Alright, little levers back assembled here on the gauge sets, and you can see how much easier it is to move those buttons with the levers. So now I've got the air gauges that are going to control the airbags. Those are in, and I had to rebuild a little bit of it for leak checking. Got that resolved, so now they don't leak any air. And moving on to routing lines in and adding some additional air stuff. Next up are these air switches. This controls the windshield to open, and also the front air flipper on the ramp. Aluminum lower side panels prepped for some clear coat, and I had to get these all set to go because these 3 holes right here are where the air lines for the suspension are going to come out. I'm going to put that little plastic cable gland which will protect the hose from chafing over time against the aluminum and help seal that up as well. So these are all ready to get clear coated. So switching gears from the pneumatics and the airline installation, I want to button some things up here on the back end, which includes getting those rear down bars on. But before I do that, I need to get this rear window in. That is plexi. It's not plexiglass, it's polycarbonate. Plexiglass is a name brand. Polycarbonate, that's going to go in right up there. I've got the holes all prepped, so we'll get that in. And then after that, I can get the down bars in, and that'll help me button up a few electrical things in the back here. There, the back glass is installed, and I'm going to leave this protective plastic on there until closer to delivery, just to keep it all clean and nice. Rear down bars installed, and I started adding some of the other things like that yellow and red e-stop that gets mounted on the back. LED light bar will go on there as well, and then the oil coolers mount up there. Alright, right side aluminum panel is all mounted. Now I got to grab the left side and do that. Put these cable glands in for the air hoses, and here's what those look like with them finished up there. So that turned out pretty nice. I'll tighten them up a little bit later once we get them cut to length and plumbed. Oil coolers are also mounted up here on the back, both sides there, and I've got some wiring strung here for the LED bar that will go right across there, and there's going to be an air outlet right here that'll be plumbed in yet as well. That way if you need to fill a tire on something else or just have air available, that'll be there. So we're going to get back to it here and get the left side aluminum sheet on. Alright, final update here as we button things up for this session in the shop. I've got a good share of the wiring all in. I'd say we're probably at 90-95% of wiring complete, and you'd see that pretty good with these side panels still open right there. I've got a good share of the air system all plumbed and hooked up. I still need to hook it up to the actual air cylinders, but the main heart of it is all hooked up. And you can see some more wiring packed into here. The air hose is coming out here on the left side in preparation for the suspension and tracks. I've got the servos in, oil coolers mounted there on both sides. This one I still need to trim up the hoses yet, but I'm going to leave them long until I see how the winch and everything fits on there, and we'll trim those off. And of course there's a battery tray. I've got that lowered right now for just checking some of the wiring. So as promised earlier on, let's go ahead and fire this thing up on the RC system. We've got all that set to go, so I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and we'll get the RC box out. We'll fire this thing up. Alright, here we go. First step, turn the transmitter on right there. Throttle is in low position. We turn the power on to the system here. Should see some lights flashing in that control box there. We do see that. Turn the ignition on here. Fuel pump kicks on. Go ahead and give her some preheat since it's been it's a cold start here. So we'll give it about 10 seconds worth of preheat to make it fire up good. And now I'll go ahead and hit the starter button. RC system there. I had to tighten the bleed valves on the hydraulic pumps. I had cracked those open to bleed some air out. So I closed those, and then I had to release the emergency brake. I forgot to do that. Once I did that, then the wheels turned on both sides there, so we'll probably check that bleed one more time a little bit later. But we got it working. So anybody, thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys next time. Upcoming things are going to be, of course, the tracks. That's the obvious things. And then I've also got a lot of small little bits to work on. Getting the windshield in, getting more plexiglass in, get the winch in, and a few little things inside the cabin, maybe being the safety bar inside there to help hold the client in there for safety. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.